Hello everyone, welcome back to Make Pen Advanced Tubing with me, Fritz, and today we're going to be learning advanced mountains. So let's get right to it. As you can see here, we start off in our Make Pen menu and we immediately go to materials. For materials, we can go for a dirt texture right there, or else we can go for a carpet texture. Personally, I use dirt more than carpet, but that could be added on as snow later on in the video. Now let's head on to colors and start off with a low tone gray. On the very last page, you will find it fog or gray. I personally use gray for this. Now let's head over to settings. Now in settings, the way that I usually do it is I have it on 0.5 or off grid completely because we want the mountains to look completely natural. Rotation snap is on 5 as always. Uniform shapes is on, and the rest is just like this. This is optional, this is all optional, all these are here. Now let's head on to second page. Now on second page, you can see the tube size, the fixed tube width, and connect nearby tubes. Those are going to be almost the main components for this, just besides the tube height ratio and tube facets. Now let's start off with the tube size. I personally have this on 8 before I do any rescaling, just to make sure everything's a lot nicer and I can make the fine details. Fixed tube width is always on for me. Connect nearby tubes is on for me. Smooth tubes is on. For this, it's optional, but personally I use it because it looks a lot nicer and more smoothed out. Tube height ratio is at a 100% to 75%. For this video, we're going to be using 100% though. Tube facets is at 10 right now, and that's how it's going to stay for the remaining of the video. Now let's get into building. Now for this part of the video, we're going to want to start off with grabbing our makeup pen again, having that little nib on the very end, and we're going to want to start off with the method I personally call the strand method. That method is shown by creating a piece of tubing that is completely just random. It's just a random strand that goes up about 5-6 ticks, and then another one, and then another one. For this video, we're going to only be demonstrating about 4 to 3, but you could personally move it up to 8 to make your mountain look a little bit more unique. So let's start off with creating one single strand up, then ticking off, and then grabbing another, maybe moving it up a little bit more, ticking it off, moving it to the side, ticking it off, and then one more and ticking it off. And there we go, this is our first strand. I'll give you a full look at it right now. It's nothing special, it's just a little strand, and that's what it's going to look like. Now let's move on to the next one, where we will move it up, again, over to the side, up again, and then up. These do not have to be touching, but personally, I like to model them as they would be placed on an actual mountain, like the exoskeleton of a mountain. So, let's get in this last one over here. Up, 1 tick, 2 ticks, right here, end it, 3 ticks, and then 4 ticks. And there we go. Now let's start off with the next part, which will be demonstrating on how the placement should be. Now that I have everything here and I am in the edit, I want to start by grabbing one of these, putting it in, grabbing the second one, placing it maybe halfway across, and there we go. Now, you go crazy with cloning. I'd say try to keep the numbers of each one equal, but you could put them right beside each other, you could put them above each other, all around each other, just as long as it looks nice and to you looks like a real mountain, then it's completely fine. So let's get to it. And there we have it. this is what it's going to look like in your final product. It's going to look a little bit nicer after we get into the fine detailing, which is going to be the next step. So let's get to it. For this next part, you're going to want to be in your makeup pen menu and select manipulate. Once you select the manipulate, you're going to want to exit the menu and start fine tuning. So as you can see over here, I do not like this bump coming out of nowhere, and I don't like how it just completely ridges everything off of its center. So I'll click on the edge, join, and I'll put it inside a little bit more, just like that. Now, as you can see, there's more over here that I don't like, so I'm going to put those in, and there's even more on the back, and there will be more on the sides. But my advice personally is if you see any rigid bumps like that, those are okay for the most part, but if they're sticking out too much, it's going to make it look really, really choppy and uneven and unrealistic. So flatten them out as much as you can along the bottom lines, because that's when the earth hits between it and it starts to merge into each other. So if you do a little bit more fine tuning, it will look really nice. Now there you go. This is what it's going to look like. Now let's get on to the next step. So for this next part, we're going to want to start off by going into our makeup pen menu right here, as you see, and selecting clone. Now, the way this is going to work is we're going to want to select it all by dropping the edit, and we're going to want to clone it upwards by pressing this green arrow and then pulling it down. That's exactly how we're going to do it. We're just going to leave it like that. Now, what we're going to want to do now is go back into our menu right here, and we're going to want to go to shapes, and in here you're going to want to go back to materials, and in materials you're going to see carpet. Now with carpet selected, we're going to want to go back to colors, and then we're going to want to select white. Now that we are on white, close your menu, open up your makeup pen menu, and then press recolor. Now that you're recolored, you're going to want to close that makeup pen menu and recolor that all white. Now for this next step, it can get a little bit confusing, but for the most part, you just got to listen step by step by pressing scale, selecting the white one only, then scaling it down by pressing that little middle square right there. That little square right there is what's going to be the key to this, is that's going to be scaling that down a little bit and a little bit more, depending on how much snow you want on something. And you're going to want to scale down maybe 1 to 5 ticks, then press move, and then move it down. And there we have it. A mountain ready for your use whenever you want, and that's it. Now personally, I just want to say thank you all for watching and watching fully through the video. So thank you all so much. Stay tuned next time. It was Fritz, signing out. Peace.